Today we're going to take another look at some facepalm backseating. We showed a couple videos ago some really bad backseating. That was like the worst and most agitated I could ever imagine being by somebody who was just commenting on every single thing that happened in the dungeon. But this today is it's just a really weird situation. There's this weird situation that goes on in this game where I think like people who are slightly above average try to exert that level of importance on players who might be slightly below average, and it just gets really out of control. It looks so weird, and it's just honestly like cringe. Like, I hate to say that word, but that's really the only way to describe it. Let me read you this email because we have a little context before the key started. Again, it's another conversation that happens before the key actually starts. As soon as I joined the group, someone asked me if I will pull big or small, which I replied to by saying small. This is where a bit of a discussion started. Some were skeptical we could time it, and I think the Death Knight in the group was under the impression that I was very new to the dungeon, so he kept pinging packs I should pull and even pulled some packs for me. I think that's pretty much all. Then they started recording. That's all we missed. Then we have the actual recording, which you're going to take a look at now, and prepare yourselves. It's pretty wild. So as you see, there's already a bunch of nonsense on the screen. I love how it starts too. The shaman like already knows this is going to be a waste of time, but doesn't leave. Like, you can leave before the key starts. Why do you guys do this to yourselves? They're talking about potentially pulling big out of the gate here, I'd imagine, which is definitely something I would recommend, but there's just not really a big problem if you don't. The Death Knight is going to be a little suspect here, but ultimately not the person who causes all the problems. There's somebody who's quiet right now that has yet to make a splash on the dungeon, but don't worry, they're going to. This is my actual favorite part of the clip too, though. Hold on, I gotta let you guys hear this.
Tank isn't comfortable with big pulls. I think we should be doing a decent size first pull just for CDs. We don't need record time.
What is that? That is so crazy. Do you actually play with that on in the game? That is insane. That's actually really nice. The problem is the game sounds are so loud that you actually can't hear it once combat starts. Yeah, anyway, they're gonna start the dungeon. It seems like most people are agreeing here that it's a 10. We're talking about a 10, by the way. And we're arguing, but not even really arguing, but like we're just having these like weird drawn out conversations about the first pull. This is a perfectly fine first pull. Like, yeah, you could pull the gatekeeper as well. Like, I mean, okay, great. We didn't do that. It's a 10. Let's just say bloodlust for the boss. Perfectly fine. Somebody actually aggroes it. I don't know if we actually backpedal into it there. Trying to figure it out. I think it's that Frost. Yeah. That's what it was. Frost Death Knight sends the Syndragosa worm thing or whatever. Watch, you're going to see that. Or that's just like the Frost Whelp looking one or something like that. So that's actually going to aggro by accident. And now we're basically just in the first pull, like the normal first pull of the dungeon, just on that side instead of the side I normally go to. Second pull's like, yeah, I mean, it's good too. Like, I don't really see any issues with anything that's gone on so far, but now things are about to ramp up a little bit. I think this is why you want to pull that gatekeeper, the one to our left now, the one that's to the right of the entrance, because then you can aggro these small patrols with it. And now we're not doing this. You know, this is a bad look, and it's unfortunate that these people are going to backseat this key the whole way. But, you know, when you do this, then yeah, unfortunately, we kind of open ourselves up to this. The Death Knight again says this is a waste of time. And yeah, I mean, I kind of agree, but it doesn't really matter. Like, what is the time that we're wasting here? Just don't wipe. The boss is dead, and then we're going to go up. This is like the way I normally do it too. Just come up on this little ramp here, and seemingly out of nowhere, like out of completely nowhere, we have this hunter say, "Tank, you cannot play." Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, we got 0 deaths. Like, I mean, what is the actual issue here? I don't know. The Death Knight says, "It's okay. I will help with pings." The email kind of hints at it, but like, I think at this point, this DK thinks he's like God's gift to dungeon players or something like that. So he's like, all right, this tank has never done a dungeon before. I have no idea why they think that. Really kind of like an embarrassing misunderstanding of the situation here. He's going to step into the leadership role in the dungeon now. The form of leadership is mostly going to materialize in a bunch of pings. Just like you just turn around and you just see like a forest of pings on a pack that the hunter then just aggros for the tank. I mean, yeah, we want to pull this pack. We actually talked about this in the last video as well. But yeah, skipping this pack, not really a good idea, even though I guess it's kind of one of the harder packs. We definitely want the spear. Okay, so we haven't had an issue yet, but this is the Marauder. You guys know about the Marauder, right? There's always something funny that goes on in this dungeon, and usually it's going to be because of this enemy. So we have our first death. That was our first death of the dungeon, by the way. With all the backseating, you would think there was a lot more happening, right? Here's a comment on that death. That's the guy who actually died saying, OMG, I'm an idiot. All right, here's the leader telling us why he died. He says, nah, tank moved. Tank has to stand still with the cleave. Marauder has a frontal cleave. Can't move him around or melee die. I love how the paladin then replies again saying, yeah, I know. Like, wait, he wasn't talking to you. That's a good tip though, right? Like, obviously you don't want to be moving the Marauder, right? Good idea. Oh wait, he doesn't actually move the Marauder and this guy doesn't actually die from the cleave. I don't know what these frames are, but yeah, I feel like they need to have some improvement here. Very hard to actually see the names of the casts going on with all the stuff and the way they're stacked up. But you're going to be able to see the Marauder up here, and we're going to be able to take a look at this guy's death. There is the scream. We see this fella. What is that green icon there? Green icon goes away. That dude's dead. Meanwhile, Skeleton Marauder, gruesome cleaves coming out in 0.7 seconds. Yeah, that guy is not going to get hit by the cleave. In fact, nobody's going to get hit by the cleave in the entire dungeon. And it makes me think that his response is because of that. He probably knows he did not get hit by the cleave. He's maybe even responding to it in that way, and we just don't realize it. But of course, you know, when you're like a professional backseater, like this guy who's like, get out of the way, bro. I'll handle this. I'll teach you every mechanic you need to know. You got to get some wrong too along the way, right? That's just how it goes. That's why I always recommend people recording their runs, because especially when you're telling people like what to do, if you're wrong, it's really, like that's just embarrassing, honestly. Like, yeah, if you're not 100% sure that you're right about this stuff, then just don't talk about it. Welcome to the most backseated boss of the expansion. Here it comes right now. Death Knight says, yeah, use the spear, warrior. Good call. And pull into the corner, which looks like the warrior already knows that he should do. That's actually pretty good. You could take them a little bit further. You see the pings? They're really spamming them now. They want it a little bit further, but it's actually fine in this spot. We just want to create this 90-degree angle here. And frankly, yeah, we don't need to be pulling them into the corner. We have a Death Knight. Death Knight can pretty much easily on their own handle all the difficulty of these adds. You grip the two casters to the archer, and that's that. It really feels like one of those things that's like, they're just like kind of pouncing on a guy that they see vulnerability in, right? We've talked a lot about this. As soon as you open your mouth and admit that you're in a position of vulnerability or that you may not be doing what somebody wants, they are going to take that and run with that. And it's really, really sad. And this is a big reason why I always say the less communication, the better in pugs, the less talk and the less like weird strategy manipulation that these DPS try to make happen. It's always bad. I've never ran into it and been like, oh good, this worked out. Like, it's never gonna work out, especially from these people who have like the ability to actually tank and they just choose not to. I don't know if that's just me, but I always have like a personal pet peeve about that. Like, just switch to blood. Hey, you know what I mean? It makes everybody's life easier. If you believe you have the strategies that you need, you're gonna be in a much better position, and then you won't have to be typing the whole dungeon, right? Like, it's a win-win. It really feels like. So final set of ads spawn here. Boss is at 6%. We're pinging it to just kill the boss, I guess is why we're pinging that. And that means the Death Knight's not gripping the mobs anymore. So that mob is just going to be out there free casting volleys, and it is going to take our healer with it. It does die, but yeah, the healer also dies. Okay, so up until this point, like, there was really nothing going on here compared to what's about to happen. The hunter says, we need gold for boost, warrior. And the guy who was backseating the whole run, he says, Niu, stop typing. Niu's the hunter. It's really, like, I feel like what we just said about the vulnerability, now it's like really coming into play here, right? The hunter's like, oh, this guy's getting bullied? Sweet, I like doing that. As he's pressuring the warrior, a patrol is coming in. Here it comes. Just gonna randomly hit it with like the paladin hammer thing, so it aggroes maybe like a second or two early, and because of that, I guess the hunter dies. I have no idea how the hunter dies here. Guy's gonna struggle to break 1 million on this pack, and then he's just gonna like randomly get killed when these mobs... Oh, I think it actually is the loyal creation. Wait. What was that? Does this guy aggro this thing? Okay, this is a pack on the right side gets aggroed here somehow. I didn't even notice this at first. I watched this whole time here, and I do not see the hunter. We can see him shooting stuff, but he is not in the shot. And then randomly, he's just gonna start walking towards melee, and he's just gonna... I think he's just gonna die. Yeah, he's just gonna get killed by those mobs coming in, I think. I don't know. One way or the other, stuff that was not ready to be aggroed by the tank gets aggroed. And more comments from our friend here. He says, please, bro, really learn to play, tank, or go check YouTube. Okay, that's a great response. I guess he's saying go check YouTube for a video called How to Play World of Warcraft. Is that an actual video? World of Warcraft Mythic Plus Instans. INSTANZ. Go play +2 keys or 0. Okay, space question mark. Meanwhile, our leader here still pinging facts. Healer's at like 20% mana. Watch this. This is actually nuts. They both agree, tank and healer, that they need mana. okay? And the DK says, go, 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 go. He drink. The shaman replies, all of you can go fuck yourselves. This is how I found out that the game sounds were too loud, because I wanted this add-on or whatever this is to play this text out loud, dude. I would love to have that in the video. Another great piece of leadership here. There's only one pack left in the room. Let's ping it. That's great. Now I know where to go. Here's the best visual clip the entire dungeon's gonna produce. Watch Gorgrind. He's gonna cast a mechanic. It's a big frontal, a big gray, kind of dark brownish looking frontal. Here it comes right now. He's got it, and guess who's the hunter? The hunter just walks right into that. Watch it again. This is honestly one of my favorite moments of World of Warcraft, weeding the wheat from the chaff kind of thing. Natural selection emulator here. Here it is. Guy literally, Sleepy Sheep's name of the guild, just walking right into the mechanic. But that's not the end of it. Unfortunately, we're going to have a long, protracted conversation about that death, of course. Not the way you would think it would go. I at first, when I saw him type, he's going to blame the tank for this somehow, of course. But his response is, guys, wait, I check how to play WoW. Necro. Okay, wait. The shaman says, you suck ass, mate. Even the paladin says, are you okay, hunter? Shaman goes, fucking noob. No reason to heal you. No, don't heal me? Question mark D. You can see at the very top left of the screen, he's jumping in the slime mechanic. I guess like baiting the guy to heal him or not, or take a stand or do something further. Who knows? I don't even know. Like, just totally unhinged behavior at this point. Kind of all because they just really wanted to bully this tank. I don't know how this happened. I really don't. And like, you turned a very, very, very easy key into just a total mess because of this weird backseating. I don't even know what to say about it. He's gonna die again off screen, I guess, to the spewed disease. We can't actually see what happens, but like he's already low, and I guess he just stands in it or something like that. Just kind of now intentionally trolling, I guess, at this point. What is the point that we're trying to make here? I really don't understand. He says, I can leave, no problem, gimp, after standing in multiple mechanics on purpose. The shaman says, do it, fuck right off. I love that the Death Knight is still trying to like lead. He goes, New, you have defensives. Siler used to always say this situation would be spitting your dummy out, some kind of phrase that English people say for some reason. This is it right here, right? Paladin says, I don't know what is your problem. And the hunter replies, all caps, low tank is my problem. That's not, I don't think that's your problem, brother. I think you got more than one at this point. Anyway, leader's still telling him how to do the fight, so we're gonna bloodlust here. And we actually have no reason we shouldn't upgrade this, right? We got one guy pretty much intentionally trolling. Look at the DPS chart, by the way. I can't wait to see the overall, because this is really crazy that any of these people are talking shit. It's hard to even know if this guy like dies on purpose or what at this point. Like, I mean, he's just low. Maybe the healer's just straight up actually not healing him. I don't really know, but he's just gonna like kind of die to just the tick damage. It's just low the whole time. Probably not actually receiving healing, but we do battle resin. We have some awkward timing here. The hook coming down at the same time the A-bomb comes in. You would think if there was going to be a problem tanking, this would be it. We actually do have a little problem with threat. Looks like the Death Knight grabs threat there, or maybe the paladin, but they don't actually die, and then the boss dies. And there's the response from our group leader. He says, well played, tank and healer. Great, great, high positivity, right? Hunter, though, no, he's not here. He says, you will not heal me. Okay. So now it's just like really getting petty. The Death Knight says, Niu, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. Watch this little interaction. This is really strange. I don't think I've ever actually seen this happen before. The root ring thing is going to go on the paladin, who, by the way, can pre-freedom yourself, so it does not go on anybody. And he's on his horse, and because of that, the ring is like not able to be seen. Really strange here. Look, I guess it's because he's like off the ground. Here's the edge. You can see the edge on the lip over there. Otherwise, you cannot see it on the actual platform. So you can't see the edge, and that is going to cause a relatively big issue here. The Death Knight doesn't realize that he's in it, and it gets dispelled, and now he's rooted, and that's going to mean a death here. Meanwhile, our hunter friend is not on the platform, meaning he's down there. Been down there for a while, if you can't tell. No surprise to anybody. Guess what he's not doing? I don't actually know what happens if you just sit down there the whole time. 7 stacks of that wind thing? Yeah, all right. He's just ultimately going to end up dying. I don't even know to what, I guess. Probably standing in something down there, and we're going to get another just nonsense reply from this guy. He says, oh no, I don't know what to do. Full on intentionally trolling now. Really crazy. All over absolutely nothing here. The Death Knight just replies, he says, you're bad. And yeah, they're going to actually wipe. I mean, I don't know that they wipe to the hunter, to be honest, but they're actually going to full wipe here. This is so fucking sad. This is so fucking sad, dude. This makes me depressed. Such an easy key. Just shut the fuck up and let the tank do what he wants to do. Paladin says, Hunter, is it your key? Just do your job. I will lost my key, not yours. The Hunter says, it's not my key. Anyway, the Hunter then again aggroes the boss, and is the Paladin even here? No, the Paladin wasn't even here when we pulled the boss. He's here now. But yeah, this time they're just gonna have no actual deaths, no issues, and the timer's over. I mean, at this point, since we wiped, the timer's been over, and they're gonna finish this dungeon out of time. I don't know if people are doing this kind of stuff for score at this. I don't even know when this was even recorded, but yeah, 15 points. We got 15 points, almost 2,500 at that point. And the second the dungeon's over, that Hunter's gone. That dude is way too much of a fucking coward to actually stick around and see what happens. But everybody's now praising the tank. Look at this. Well played, tank. They're talking about the Hunter. He says, what an idiot. Well played, guys. It's all camaraderie all the way around. You know what I mean? What an absolute joke that this went this way. What an absolute joke. It's one thing to backseat, man. It's one thing to be toxic. It's one thing, whatever you want to say that happens in keys normally, but behaving the way this guy does, pretty much intentionally bricking this key, right? Like, this key is on pace to upgrade. This guy seemingly intentionally dies multiple times in the dungeon. There's the overall, by the way. I wanted to show that too. The guy who was typing the entire dungeon, 1.1 million overall. Sweet. There's this guy. I mean, the actual player here, 3160. This guy's an actual player. This run was 10 weeks ago, by the way, now. There's the group. I mean, I don't know what his score was at the time, but even the tank has, you know, gotten to 2,600 since this was recorded, so he's still playing the game. Got all the 10s done. That's great. Guess what this guy's done? What? Yeah, about one level higher. This is pretty impressive, Hunter here. I don't know, man. This kind of shit is just totally despicable. This should be bannable. 100% this should be bannable. There's a lot of gray area in these conversations. A lot of things that maybe I go a little bit overzealous on. I'm not going to hear any arguments for this. If you act like this in a key, you should be banned from the game. You should not be allowed to pug at the absolute best. I just don't really know how to describe this though. And I do think that because he was so quiet in the beginning of the dungeon and he didn't really start saying anything until the Death Knight had really ramped up this idea that we're just gonna backseat, like, just hardcore type about everything in the dungeon, even though, like I said, like, it wasn't as bad as the Paladin situation we saw a couple keys ago. You know, just the fact that there's just weird dialogue going on constantly about things in the dungeon that the tank knows how to do. Like, he has done the dungeon before. This weird idea that this tank doesn't know how to do this dungeon is really weird. It's just not fair. I think it's just really unfortunate, and it's like maybe a little bit of a battle of egos here that unfortunately just twisted this key beyond all belief and caused the problems that we see here unfold. I'm actually really disappointed with the shaman because this guy knew. He knew from the get-go, before the Hunter even got involved, that this was not going to go well. This was a waste of time. You step out of that key, man. 100% of the time. You don't expect this to go well, and it's really sad to see a 10 not in time because of this type of thing. Anyway, I hope you guys have been enjoying the patch. We will be back to streaming our normal schedule and probably adding some days next week with the seasonal launch. Otherwise, stay tuned. We got the end of season to spam review video coming this weekend as well. Thank you for watching. Thanks for all the amazing submissions in season 1, guys. I really hope season 2 will live up to this greatness as well, because I can't wait. I had so much fun making these videos these last few weeks. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys in the next one.